Hello, and welcome to the Childcare Workforce Support Series, Module 1, Recruitment, Tips, and Tools, presented by Texas Workforce Commission, Texas Health and Human Services, Childcare Regulation, and Accreditation. This is Module 1 of 8 in this series. In this module, we will cover when is the best time to hire, how do you create a job listing, and where do you post a job listing.
When is the best time to hire? Consider this. Think about your program's future needs. Are you hoping to increase the number of children you can serve? Do you plan to expand your program's offerings? Think about the type of team member you'll need to assist you in making those plans a reality. It's really important to know your staff. Do you know their plans? Maybe you have a recent graduate on your team who's now looking for a job in their field. Or do you have a staff member whose spouse's company is relocating them? Maybe you have a caregiver who's going to be going on maternity leave. By hiring a new staff member in anticipation of these staffing needs, you can ensure a smoother transition for the children, your families, and your program.
As you know, there are childcare regulation and minimum standards implications for hiring. The minimum standards for childcare outline the child caregiver ratio for each age group. You may need to hire to meet these ratios in the classroom. So an important question you may ask yourself is, how soon do you need to have the person ready to enter the classroom? For most, the answer may be as soon as possible. However, it is important to note what requirements are needed for hiring and onboarding. It is important to recognize the need early and to plan accordingly, as some of the process does take time. It is important to allot time for the hiring and vetting process as well. Now, is the hiring need for expected growth or needed assistance? For instance, are you hiring to expand or enhance the quality of your program? You may be looking to grow your program or looking for that perfect co-teacher to complement an existing classroom. As mentioned before, give yourself time to select a great candidate. If this role is going to play a big part in a new part of your program, you want to start it off in the right way. If you know that staff may be departing or taking a short leave of absence as well, we recommend starting the hiring and search process while they are still there. If possible, have the new hire onboarded and working with the departing staff. Not only will this help with the continuity of care, but also allow for a smoother transition for children and families. By doing this, you will also ensure you remain in compliance with minimum standard ratios. There may also be other hiring implications you may need to consider. Programs looking to meet TRS or other accreditation programs often need additional staff or staff with additional qualifications. In addition, if an applicant is from out of state, then there are additional background check requirements for those individuals. Times to get those needed checks for out of state vary depending on the state. It is important to keep this in mind if you are looking to have them fill a sudden vacancy.
Another reason that you may be thinking about hiring new staff or additional staff is to increase or improve your quality. For instance, when working towards increasing the quality of care your program provides to the families you serve, you may need additional staff to lower the ratio of children to teachers in the classroom, to provide intentional supports to children with varying abilities, or to assist your program's framework in the supports you provide to the staff, such as a curriculum coordinator, family engagement specialist, dedicated substitute, floater, cook, or other support staff. As mentioned already, programs looking to achieve Texas Rising Star or a separate accreditation may need additional staff or staff with different qualifications to comply with or score more points within their standards. Once you determine that you need to or want to hire staff, you will have to find the best staff to fit the position. The first thing you will need to do is to create a job listing to attract the talent that you need. Let's hear from one of our business coaches at Accreditation talk about how to create a job listing.
Step 1. Plan. Take the time to brainstorm what characteristics your ideal employee has by answering the following questions. What position do you need filled? What traits does this person need to have in order to love this job and do it well? What experiences would be especially helpful? What will it take for them to be employed? And what skills would make them a perfect fit? Get creative and dream big. The more specific you get, the better. Step 2, choose the audience. Based on the answers in the brainstorming session, what stage of life is your future employee currently in or transitioning into? Are they a young parent? Are they an empty nester? Or are they a retiree? This is important because there's a possibility that the way you talk to each demographic could be different for each stage of life. Depending on how badly you need the new employee, you may even want to write a job description for each demographic. To illustrate this, let's use 2 demographics for the same job, a toddler teacher for ages 2 and 3. Let's consider a pre-retiree and a college student. Both can be the ideal employee for the same position, but have different needs, wants, and desires. We will answer the following questions to get the right language to use in our job descriptions. 1. What is your ideal employee probably doing right now? At the moment, it's August. Your ideal pre-retiree may be using up unused vacation leave. The college student may be preparing to start school and wondering how to get experience and income. 2. What does your ideal employee like to do? The pre-retiree likes to tell stories and share experiences with others. The college student likes playing games and documenting fun on social media. 3. What problems do they have? The pre-retiree probably doesn't know what to do in retirement. Let's say she's a 48-year-old, 25-year experienced teacher, and she's afraid of being alone. For the college student, a problem she might have is not knowing how to get a job after college without having any experience in the field. Number 4, how can working with you solve some of those problems? For the pre-retiree, feeling like she's part of a community and sharing knowledge and wisdom with young parents would help her feel like she's not alone. The college student, having a paid experience with a team of professionals in the field that she's studying would definitely solve her problem of worrying about how to get a job after college without having any experience. Number 5, what unique questions, what unique benefits will your job give them? For the pre-retiree, having a sense of belonging and significance in the lives of young families would be a unique benefit to working at your center or your program. For the college student, getting something for her resume, having invaluable insight into the industry that she's about to embark on, and possibly some friendships that will last a lifetime. Number 6, what are they interested in accomplishing? They can both be interested in accomplishing or having achievement working towards a common goal, establishing a firm social and educational foundation for children before they get to school. Step 3, write the invitation to work with you, the job description. Use the language your ideal employee will use by answering the questions from the previous step. Consider using the why, what, and how framework to write your job description. The title of the position. Here's the why. Job description written with your company's mission and key benefits that would be important to the ideal employee's demographic. Describe the people that they get to serve, the young children and their families. Next, the what. Include the location they'll be working in, the days and hours they will work, whether they're full-time or part-time, the required and desired qualifications. Be sure you are specific and stick with the most essential. For example, keep it to 2 to 5 of the most important characteristics. This can help you triage the resumes to find the best fit and provide evidence of your decision-making process. Job skills, that would be ideal. The ideal candidate description, and be sure you're specific here as well, and list the benefits to the applicant and the salary range. List some of the ideal employee unique benefits to working with you based on the demographic here. A note on the financial benefits that you offer. If your salaries are not as competitive as surrounding centers or even employers in other industries that are close by, then concentrate more on your workplace culture and the experience of working in your program. For a more in-depth look at this, consider joining us in Module 5 to learn how to offer competitive salaries or hiring bonuses, especially with any relief funding you may have received. Lastly, the how. You must have application instructions. Be clear on how to get an interview with you. They can email a resume or maybe even come in person at a set time. It's important to manage your expectations here. If you do not require your workers to use a computer all the time, should you really expect them to be computer fluent for the job application? Your instructions should answer the questions, how do I apply? What should I send? And what info do I need to have? Some examples of applicant info to request are a resume or work history. If no work history due to experience, ask them to send you the answer to a question. For example, what interests you most about working in the childhood education industry? State clearance form completed, or having information on any child care education that they may have.
The minimum standards for child care outline the minimum qualifications for caregivers. It is important to recognize these as you select your initial applicants. For child care centers, the qualifications are outlined in 746-1105 through 746-1307, and for school age and before or after school programs, 744-1103 through 744-1109. Each child care employee must meet background check requirements, have a current record of tuberculosis examination showing the employee is free from contagious TB if required locally, complete a notarized licensing affidavit for applicants for employment, along with the following: be at least 18 years of age, have a high school diploma, a high school equivalent, or a high school certificate of coursework completion as defined by Texas Education Code 28.025D. There is also a table which covers all the additional professional development and training center staff must have, along with the timeframes for completion in 746-1301. For registered and licensed homes, the primary caregiver must meet the requirements listed in 747-1001 through 747-1015 and 747-1101 through 747-1131. This will most likely be yourself, so we will highlight what is required for assistant and substitute caregivers in registered and licensed homes. An assistant caregiver is counted in the child-caregiver ratio and assists in the care and supervision of children. An assistant caregiver may not be left to supervise and care for children without the primary caregiver or a substitute caregiver being present in the child care home at the same time. A substitute caregiver is a caregiver you leave in charge of your child care home in your absence. You must give the substitute caregiver the authority to administer your child care home in compliance with minimum standards and the licensing law in your absence. Your substitute caregiver may also be counted in the child caregiver ratio. To qualify as an assistant, the individual must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or high school equivalent or high school certificate of coursework completion, have completed orientation to your child care home, meet all background check requirements, have a current record of tuberculosis examination showing that caregiver is free of contagious TB if required locally, and complete a notarized licensing affidavit for employment. For substitutes, they must comply with all of the minimum qualifications for an assistant caregiver, along with having a current training in pediatric first aid and pediatric CPR.
Now that we have learned how to write a job posting, let's figure out the best places to post it so that you can reach all the right candidates.
Where can I post a job listing? Once you've written the job description, you'll need to identify where your ideal employee spends their time. Use these 3 easy steps: brainstorm, connect, and post it and check on it. Step 1, brainstorm. What's your ideal employee doing right now? It could be different for each stage of life. Where do they spend their screen time? Where do they hang out? What social media are they using, and are they in a special group based on their interests? Get creative or ask friends and family in a similar stage of life the question, what do you like to do? Once you understand the answers to these questions, write them down and go to step 2, which is connect. Find the social media group and contact the admin, or find the HR director of the school or workplace that they're at. Find the president of the Teachers Association or homeschool co-op program. Ask them to post this job description. Use Acquire for Hire on Texas Childcare Tools, LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Craigslist, etc. Use any of these areas to find a way to post your job listing. Step 3, post it and check on it. Plan to pay for posting on certain job board sites like LinkedIn and Craigslist. Employers may be interested in posting your job for spouses of their employees for free. The way to do that is connect with them via LinkedIn. Local volunteer organizations may be the perfect place to connect with people who are not in dire need of their full-time job to provide an income. So some of those volunteers or some of those locations that they volunteer would be a great place to post your job listing. You can also ask your current employees to post the flyer in places that they go if they're in a similar stage of life. You can also consider the stage of life of your ideal employee by, if they're a pre-retiree or retiree, maybe posting the job description in a 55 and up community center, or the grocery store, or a bowling alley. If it's a college student, go to the local college campus and see if you can post something on the job board there. Maybe you can post it in their dining facility. Find a local hangout or a local church and post it there. Most importantly, be sure you check on it. Schedule some times in your week to check on your different posting sites and locations. Be sure you get creative about trying to find the perfect employee. Your ideal team member is out there waiting for you to come across their path. If you'd like more information or help putting together a recruiting campaign, sign up for coaching today.
View our guide on attracting the best talent, including learning how to create a 3-part job announcement online on our website, www.childcare.texas.gov. This guide and more are available in both English and in Spanish. Next up, join us for a module on staffing for home-based providers. Then, in Module 3, we will detail how to vet and hire a candidate.